Alright, so Mr. Holiday here, and I got something to show you. I've showed this to, I want to say, about a handful of my customers on Facebook, and the response that I got was, was positive. So, it kind of just encouraged me to dip more into the limelight and kind of just put this out in the public. For those of you who are waiting on my list and all that, this is going to be some news for you, because there's only a handful of people who I could I could have gotten a hold of. Everybody else, I don't know. I sent you guys some messages and nothing. I tried calling you guys just to show you, because I don't really want to be sending pictures and me talking about it, like, typing it out. I don't think it would really come back or impact you guys as much as I'm really wanting to do. Like, I'm trying to grab your attention. I'm trying to, steer some optimism in you guys. The guys who I've told like it. They will, they're up for it. They're excited about it. The rest of you guys is gonna, take you by surprise, and I really hope you guys don't take it or get offended by it. I mean, so I've been sitting on this idea for a long time, and I've never really had the time to do anything about it. And it's kind of been one of those, the back of your mind kind of thing, the back burner. And I really didn't know how to do it back then. I want to say like a year and a half ago. I didn't have the clay that I do now, and I wanted to do it like then, but I didn't really have all the materials, and I was kind of thinking about, a half-assed way to do it. And I'm glad I didn't. So there's a lot of problems with my method of casting, and it's not the quickest way. It is my way and the way that I like to do it. You guys like, the spongy texture and the smell of it, so that's been kind of my signature as far as the product itself, not the paint job or the sculpt, but just, the actual material is different from a lot of masks out there. And that process, the way I make that, is a very slow process, and some of you guys like it, but it does take some time to do, and I don't really want to go on the slip cast method. I'd rather stay on this method. So the biggest part of me not producing is fucking casting. Casting is like fucking, it just takes ages to get the right thickness. I was shortcut. I did a lot of shortcutting. As far as that, the product itself, I diluted it down with Cabosil, and that just didn't work. I was pushing it way too far. And if you look at some people's casts now, it has like a prune effect to it. Like, you could see it around the wrinkles and stuff. It's like, the skin or the surface is just, getting, like it's wrinkly, like it's wrinkling out. If you look at, some other casts, like, oh man, I don't know who they are, I'm sorry, exactly who all, but if you look at, previous masks before that, there's like so many people. Corey Palmer had the original one, or no, Michael Pinn got the original one, the prototype. If you look at the prototype, the mask quality is still pretty good, and you look at somebody else's and it's all pruned up. That's the reason why. And that was what caused the pruning effect was the Cabosil and the ratio that I was pushing it to, just because I wanted to cut down on my latex consumption. At the same time, buying something that's inexpensive compared to latex, and it's and cutting it up, making it thicker. So I would use less of my latex just by adding some of that Cabosil, and the longevity of it, of that combination, is just not there. So I had to cut that out of the process, and I thought I could, you know, weasel my way by giving, you know, like not super thick, but, you know, thick enough cast, but that doesn't fly with some of you guys. So, you know, it's about me making that fucking shit extra thick, and the latex that I buy is from FX Warehouse, so that latex is thin. It's like water almost. I love it because, you know, it captures the detail, you know, and the way that I do it. The more like liquidy it is, I feel like the longer it lasts, versus if it wasn't as thick and it was, you know, more on the thick side, then, you know, we're gonna have some problems. I had that same issue with Monster Makers. I don't use that latex no more, so I use effects. But let me get back to what I was, you know, the whole fucking point of the video. So the point of the video is for me to expedite my output. So I thought to myself, I could resculpt the Iowa, get it molded. I'll have two Iowas, you know, in similar to the sculpting sculpting quality goes. But I don't know if it's just me. I grew a lot since 2011, and I see things that I missed before. I didn't think it would be that bad. I thought, you know, just look at it would, you know, improve. But like looking at this sculpt and looking at my 2011 in comparison, like I'm just like, wow, I'm a little embarrassed that I actually sculpted it. It's kind of like, you know, experience type deal where, like, you know, you're more experienced, you get look back at your fucking previous and you're like, wow, what the hell? That's, you know, my whole little that was my whole little moment when I got this sculpt basically done. I've been working on it for 2 weeks now, and it's almost about ready to be molded. I have about like maybe 3 more days of detail left on it, and that's just about 3 hours, so it's like 9 hours overall. But if I had to, you know, do it all in one day, I could probably get it all done in one day. But I started my new job, so I don't have that luxury no more. So I'm almost done with it. Just give me a couple more days. I should have the you know, finished product. But from what it looks like now, I'm pretty sure you guys will be blown away. I'm going to show you guys the sculpt, and I'm going to put up another, or a 2011 Iowa next to it, and I want you guys to really see what I'm talking about as far as comparing the detail and the quality to the 2017 Iowa versus the 2011. There's like a 5-year gap, and you're going to see the 5-year level of growth of you know, me as an artist. So I'm going to show you guys that, and then my closing statements, and then you guys can you know, go from there. I don't know if you guys are gonna like it. I hope you guys do, because it's gonna be like my last attempt at this SK Slipknot mask realm. You know, you guys helped me build my fucking shop, so it's time for me to, you know, resolve my debt and, you know, start making other stuff. And I can't leave without, you know, putting that last you know, that last stamp on it. So this is going to be like my one of my last attempts at it. From what it looks like, it's gonna blow you guys away. So I'm gonna have those strictly available. I don't want to be giving you guys any outdated copies or masks, you know. So let me know what you guys think. The veins may look too bold, but that's not how it's gonna come out when I mold it and everything. Like it's gonna sink more in there. I learned that with my 2011 Iowa. When I sculpted the veins, I was more subtle with it, so you couldn't really tell, and it worked for the few, like 100 or so copies, or, you know, the first 100, and then afterwards that detail is basically non-existent, so you don't really see it anymore. So by putting it a little more on the strong side, it should last in the cast. Like it should register it for a good amount of copies. Let me turn this light on, actually. Boom. So let me guys know if you are game for this. I'm gonna put it down, and then I'm gonna grab the other Iowa. So I have Dale's I have Dale Robinson's Iowa on my shelf. All he needs is the eye holes to be cut out and for me to clean it up, and then it's going to go on my paint side, which I don't have any masks available for that side. I am working on 2 Tattoo the Earth Brained version for a couple guys, and another Corey, Iowa, and then another Tattoo the Earth, which didn't come out as I hoped. There's one of the few copies that I saved, so I'm going to be turning that into something else. And then afterwards, I'm going to be start the whole cycle again. And I just recently got another gallon of latex. So right now I have about a gallon and maybe a gallon and 3/4, like a gallon and then another gallon, but 3/4 of that second gallon, so 1.75 amount of latex left. So that should get me another 6 copies. I'll be updating everybody on that. But let me do the size comparison. So you can see how slightly bigger it is, and I had a lot of people tell me that the Iowa was like tight and snug, and then I got reports of people saying it's a little loose, but those are the smaller head guys.
Depression is essence, we're destined for exodus. Exceptional extraterrestrial exorcist. I kiss the celestial blessedness of my blessed and uplifted Padma. Word to the sadhus, devas and agoris of Varanasi. From Vasudeva to Vishnu Yasha, Devaki, Yashoda, Gayatri Devi. Mothers and fathers of prophets are gods and goddesses. Realign your optics with Vedic prophecies. Redesign your topics and knavish odysseys. I pray to Christ and Miriam, Krishna and Radha, Buddha and Tara. Priceless myriads of bodhisattvas and tirthankaras. Vishnus and Brahmas, Durgas, Lakshmis, Shivas and Parvatis, Sarasvatis, Mata Kalis, Jarastafari and his empress. Even in the jaws of the Sahara's tempest, at samsara's entrance, I call on gods and goddesses to guard my senses. Like Gaia's sentience, far higher than senseless lies. I aspire to the stars that rise in the farthest skies. Unlike honest friars, conscious lives with superconscious ties. Like martyrs that died in the fire, but don't bother to lie on the pyre. The sacrifice is senseless in Christ, sacrifice is endless. I have to write this sentence, even though I'm blackened by repentance. I'm breathing flows for heathen souls lacking in sentience. I'm back with a vengeance. In Laket Shalakin, from Shalakin kings that are kin. fire in the spine, Pingala out of divine, Susumonic, supersonic mind, shoot a haunted mind, with a blast strong beyond atrocities, Plato Socrates, the logical fatal fist and stopping the telepathies, living goddesses, hottest tropical degrees, flying saucers in the Malibu, shoot through the stratosphere, witness from the beach, Merlin magical feats, release from the pen, hits the sheets. She's having omnipresence, Bobby volunteer temple, Tibetan teeth, the backs on the breast, psychic internet, messages sent from laser template, heavenly bodies, interstellar godly, Kali Ma, Parvati, Shiva, Hum, I am that I am, by Kunta Dennis and the Vasu, descending to ascension, beyond your comprehension. She fired.